how's it going, guys? My name is Jackie Fish and welcome back to probably one of the coolest maps that you haven't seen in Rome 2 Total War. This map is one of the campaign maps from the Rise of the Republic DLC, which gave you a two-stage siege battle. The first stage you were defending the outer walls, and if you were to have lost that battle, you'd then be pushed back to this final stand for the grand city of Rome. And I thought it was just a really cool settlement. I got this awesome replay sent in to me by these guys, and I thought, yeah, why not? Let's go ahead and do it. It does seem like the replay is a little bit long, but I'll cut out any boring bits, so don't worry about that. You can see the battle is getting kicked off right here by the Arverni, and they are trying to push forward against the Egyptians. So we'll quickly run over the general maintenance of this battle. So we start off with the Seleucids and the Arverni attacking against the Carthaginians and Egypt. I know, heresy, the Carthaginians hold the grand city of Rome, but hopefully the Seleucids and the Arverni will be able to take it from them. If we take a look at the map itself, it's really cool as the attackers can actually deploy inside the city itself. However, Rome is still very much defended. They have this outer wall that can be besieged by the attackers, and they also have plenty of gatehouses to maneuver soldiers out. Like, as you can see right here, this can be sieged, and you can also obviously come around here as well and attack this part of the settlement. However, even with all these other destroyed parts of the walls, the defenders still have a very nice advantage with plenty of areas that they can set up their archers and bowmen very effectively. And I just think this is just a really cool map. It's definitely an awesome design that hopefully Creative Assembly will push forward in future Total War games. As Rise of the Republic, I think, was the latest DLC for Rome 2, which only came out like a year or two ago. So it's honestly not like this is a super old concept that we might not see reoccurring. I think we'll see something like this in Total War Troy, you know, taking siege levels to the next level. And it's just really cool seeing the settlement completely in ruins. You know, the outer wall being ravaged, you have these, you know, houses being burnt, and the destruction throughout the settlement is absolutely brutal. And I think that's just really cool. Like, I love it. I really hope more stuff like this, more siege escalation, is always a great thing in my book. But let's go ahead and start this battle. So as you can see, we do have the Arverni pushing forward some Celtic warriors. The Seleucids have some Syrian heavy archers hitting the Egyptian missiles. We've got some Numidian bowmen up here who I believe are pretty lightly armored, but they're a cheap archer unit that can do a lot of damage if given the ability to fire in on the enemy. I'm also just going to go ahead and turn down the music a little bit as the Rome 1 music is blaring. It's just a tad too loud for me. So if we take a look at a few of the other units as the battle is underway, the Egyptians do have some of these Galatian swordsmen, great effective offensive units that can really be used to charge in to the oncoming attackers. As we go further back, we have some Carthaginian forces, some Greek Scorpions, which again will be able to get a lot of their shots off on the enemy as they continue to pursue them. Carthaginians have some mercenary Scutarii. Again, a pretty strong unit from Spain or the Iberian Peninsula, so very strong indeed. We have some more mercenary Samnite warriors supported by more Scutarii. I'm definitely looking on the lookout for some Sacred Band somewhere. I'm sure we'll see them. We also have some more Libyan infantry for the defenders. Again, that does look pretty nice. With the temple in the background, the glorious temple to Jupiter. I don't know if that is to Jupiter, but still looks cool nonetheless. We also have some Peltis here, which are a super effective unit, especially against the Seleucids. We have some Furios swordsmen from Egypt, and plenty of other infantry. Got some pikes in reserve, and also some flaming balls of destiny that might come crushing down on the opponent. We'll have to see how that does fare. Also some Carthaginian cavalry and Egyptian cavalry, just kind of scouting around, making sure there's no other ambush units. Finally, for the last of the Seleucid forces, we have some Hillmen, just some cheap axemen who can pretty good at armor piercing. We also have some Furios swordsmen, supported by more Furios spearmen, Syrian heavy archers. No elephants to my eye, though, which is unfortunate. And then finally, the Gauls are going to be bringing chosen swordsmen and a whole range of other infantry. So I just wanted to do that battle, kind of that overview whilst the battle was going on. Because as I said, this is kind of a long one, and it is only a 40 unit battle, so I assume they're kind of quite slow at progressing through the settlement, which, you know, if stuff does get a little bit slow, I will just cut that out like I said earlier. So no need to worry about that whatsoever. You know, I'll make sure I keep things interesting, and as long as stuff is going on, yeah, you know, just to kind of make it a bit more fitting for YouTube. But maybe this battle is just action-packed the entire time, and if it is, guys, make sure you drop that like and a comment down below, as you can see the two Galatian swordsmen and the Celtic warriors hit out at each other, and the Celtic swordsmen are going to come out on top. We are getting a lot of missile fire though coming in on the Galatian swords. They're being hammered by archer fire from the Syrian archers. You see that man just getting absolutely destroyed by the missile, and they're going to decide to fall back, maybe out of range of the missiles. You kind of just sit back and keep that battle line, because the longer they stay over here, the better it's going to be, as they're the ones with the great positioning, right? They have Numidian bowmen up here. They have this awesome Scorpion position as well. You don't often get to see Scorpions being utilized very well, but obviously this is going to be a perfect position for them, just edging over that curve. Maybe they need to get a little bit closer, but they'll be able to fire down and probably looking to try and clear out some of these missiles down here. Yeah, you can see that red line being drawn there, and the missile fire coming flying off there will be very, very deadly indeed. I think we'll see a couple hundred kills from that position. We also have a pretty nice setup over here on this side. We've got a lot of these mercenary Cretan archers just overlooking this incoming position, just in case the attackers do decide to, you know, overcommit and try and take this down. I'm kind of surprised that the attackers haven't brought up any artillery of their own or any siege equipment. Maybe you don't get the option to in custom battles, but it looks like they haven't brought like any battering rams or any siege towers or siege ladders, which I was a little bit surprised about, because obviously you could utilize and attack this like temple area quite effectively with a battering ram or anything else. I mean, they can still try and chop through the gate itself, so all is not lost if they do want to go into this direction. But it was just kind of interesting to see that they did not decide to bring any. The next engagement is now kicking off, and we do have some of the Furios Spearmen being advanced forward, basically just utilizing that javelin throw and utilizing it. They have. Look at the damage this unit of Galatian swords has taken from this missile fire with the support of the Syrian archers and these Furios javelin throws. This unit is basically down to half strength now. It is down to half strength now, which is brutal. And you can see the numbers dropping, and these Furios Spearmen are just refusing. Are these Peltis, or these are just Spearmen? I thought they'd thrown way more than 2 javelins. That's brutal. They've basically completely nullified this unit, even though the artillery is coming in with the flaming bolts and getting some good hits off on the Syrian archers. Yeah, that's deadly. It really is. You can see the bolts coming in, and you've also got missile fire here, so a very nice setup, as we do have some of the Gallic hunters just coming into view right now. See some of the ballistas, and the nice thing is about the ballistas is they do multiple damage. They kind of hit in a straight line or a projectile range, so they can hit like 4 or 5 dudes, and even though you might not get 4 kills, you're definitely doing HP damage. This lone unit has been thrown forward as a sacrificial lamb. Only 20 of them left now. They are being slaughtered. However, they're acting as a pretty good kind of sacrificial lamb, as I said. A forlorn hope, as it were, against this Celtic warrior unit that is just absorbing, being held in place, and then having so many javelins thrown at them. And again, kind of trading very nicely with this unit and the amount of missiles coming in. We finally got some Carthaginian infantry throwing up as well, some Scutarii, just throwing off them javelins. You can see them just getting their, their javelin throws off, and then they're probably going to be advanced forward, or maybe even looking to come and envelop this unit of Galatian or Celtic warriors. We can quite easily come around the flank. However, obviously we need to be careful from the Furios Spearmen, who are now charging in. They get a very deadly javelin throw in. This unit does take a missile volley as well. However, the Furios Spearmen are going to find their mark as they charge in against the Scutarii mercenaries. And even though these are, decent Furios Spearmen, they're still going to struggle, right? They're still Spearmen going up against the Swordsmen. And even though they are obviously late tier units, I don't think they'll take some damage, and they're also taking a lot of missile fire as well. You've got some good javelin throws coming in here from the Levy Furios Spearmen, who are kind of like a budget version. And then also some more Chosen Swords being advanced, which is actually pretty scary. And the Chosen Swords are like the one below Oathsworn. So they're a very, very strong offensive unit. And you can see the battle really erupting now. This is definitely becoming a huge mosh pit. You can also see the balance of power is pretty even to begin this battle. However, I think both sides will have a very interesting setup as we go further forward, as you know, both sides have invested a lot in missiles. Oh, also look at this as well, you have some burning balls, so as soon as this position is overrun, the burning balls will be set down, and they should, even though they look like they're set up to go this way, I think they generally will kind of go toward, are they setting on the light now? Please God say no. No, they're not. They're not. Okay, thank God. I was going to say, that would be a massacre right there. Does seem like the Furios Spears have been beaten back. Like I said, them javelin throws into the side were very brutal. This is actually not a bad exchange right now. The Furios Spears over here are wasting their ammunition on some Levy Furios Spearmen, which is pretty decent of them. Brutal charge in there, and then the Chosen Swords who are going to cut through these sort of Spearmen like they're nothing. They really are going to slaughter them. But I feel like this unit is mainly here again just to kind of act as a blocking point. They're basically going to allow the attackers to throw themselves against these spears and then just shoot into this blob, go all Ramsay Bolton on these units and just try and bring down as many friendly units as possible. We have got a unit of Peltis being brought up. I'm surprised at seeing this unit committed this early on, but obviously they want to try and hit something. They are going to be probably the focus point of a lot of the missiles. And the interesting thing is you can't see a lot of the Gulick missiles because they do have that snipe ability, which means they can fire whilst hidden. So you just see these arrows going flying. Until they get vision of this, they can't focus them down. The Javelins, though, are going to be throwing a lot of their missiles into friendly units, but going to be trying to focus down these Chosen Swords. And again, you know, it doesn't really matter if they kill a lot of friendly units because they're going to be getting really good, you know, volleys into expensive units. So they're going to kind of give that up for the ability to do that damage. And yeah, it is seeming like the attackers are just trying to funnel through one side with a nice reserve line in the back. So this is probably why the battle does take quite a long time. It's just because they continue to focus down this path. But it definitely doesn't mean that interesting stuff won't happen along this journey. They're probably looking to try and crack the defenses here, which again is not a bad strategy. If you can crack the defenses from one side, it definitely leaves the other one pretty vulnerable, and then you can bring up your reserves a little bit later. I personally like to see it when action is just happening all along the battle line instead of one focus point, because it kind of makes things a lot more interesting to watch. But definitely not going to, you know, diss these guys in their tactics. They're clearly trying to just break through one point, draw the attackers or the defenders over to this point of the contention, and then you advance forward and reserves. You know, there's a reason why these guys are sitting back here, is they're biding their time basically, and they'll be very impactful. This is 4 units of Furios Swordsmen supported by some spears and a whole contingent of archers. You know, you've got 3 companies of archers here, plus plenty of the Chosen Swordsmen as well, so they can really commit their reserves whenever they need to this section of the battlefield and just kind of come flying through here. And again, obviously it's pretty scary to come up here because you've got a lot of swordsmen here and of the Libyan infantry as well. You can basically find yourself being completely enveloped here. So yeah, I definitely think their plan is to probably wait until more soldiers are withdrawn over here. Or they can do kind of a combination attack right here, you know, come up through this path and then attack down here with full force when they get the ability to do so. The Chosen Swords have broken through, getting another beautiful volley off there onto the Levy Spearmen. However, Levy Spearmen are going to get a nice volley back at them and do some really good damage to the heavy infantry from the Arbenai. But now the fighting has really commenced in, and the quality of these brave Golic warriors will really start to show. However, they're going to leave themselves very vulnerable because now they're getting hammered in the rear by these Libyan Peltists, and nobody wants to get hammered in the rear by Libyan Peltists, that's for sure. I mean, oh my god, yeah, that's a deadly couple volleys, and they've probably racked up a couple kills already. Yeah, 100 kills on them. Really decimating the assault here. Luckily, they're just fighting these Levy infantry, so they can still probably come out on top here. But yeah, that was a brutal couple volleys, that really was. Once again, more of these swordsmen have been pushed up, and they've kind of cut off that retreat. And you can see the fighting really being kicked off, and I hope there's a unit over here. I mean, if I was them right now, I'd probably set these burning balls off, because this is going to get overrun very soon, and then the burning balls are not going to be that effective. Maybe try and bring these Chosen Swordsmen out. I guess you do have a lot of clumped up infantry here. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, they don't really have anything. So yeah, set these balls ablaze and let them rip, honestly. I don't think they're going to do that, though, and I think the position is going to get overrun. I think they're maybe running back to do it. Please, just set them ablaze. Come on. Oh, it'd be so unfortunate because that's such a good volley. Yeah, they're gonna do it. Oh my god, all they need to do is something here because this would be so nice. I think they're trying to do it right now, but they're having trouble clicking on it by the looks of it. Oh, these balls will do so much damage if they can set them ablaze. I think they're literally trying their best to do it, but I don't think they're going to achieve the ability to do it. Oh, they did do it. They managed to get some ablaze. And the other ones went in a weird direction. Come on, turn, go this way. No, it can rotate, it can curve. Oh no, maybe it'll bounce off a wall. I don't know how no, it just gets destroyed. Oh, that's really unfortunate. Them balls could have done so much more damage. Yeah, because I think this one would have curved perfectly down the hill and just basically Beybladed its way through the Carthaginian battle line. And I guess the Carthaginians are friendly, so they probably don't want to do that. And the Slugans did fall back, so it's probably for the best that didn't happen. However, these Celtic swordsmen are overrunning this position, and they actually managed to make the ballista crew fall back. And all of a sudden, these burning balls can be used on the attackers if on the defenders, if the chosen swords wanted to. I think that's exactly. No, they're going the wrong way. No. Oh, there's one. There's that glorious one, but I think again it's going to hit this wall and. Yeah, unfortunately not managed to break its way through. Yeah, you really have to set up your attack. Oh no, this goddamn wall. That could have been really effective going into this causeway. Not going to be the case, but this sword unit is going to move up and it's going to try and take over this capture point. And taking these capture points may not seem like they're super effective because they're not going to give you that ticking timer to win the battle because you need to capture the main one over here. However, it does give you a slight morale buff and it takes away a morale buff to the enemy. So it's kind of like a double play in a sense because you're giving yourself a small morale buff and you're taking away the enemies. So yeah, you're definitely kind of almost doubling that. However, the defenders do not want to give that up, and that brutal volley of Pila coming in, removing 10, 15 of these chosen swordsmen, and then they're going to come in. The Libyan infantry, some of the best swords that Carthage have to offer, and they'll be able to dispatch these guys and send them back. However, there are plenty of Celtic swordsmen ready to meet them. A nice little javelin throw from both sides. And once again, they're going to clash in against the enemy in the hopes of victory. That guy going very deep into enemy position, slaughtering that one Celtic sword. But now he is quite quickly surrounded by his brothers, and he goes down almost immediately. We do have some Seleucid soldiers out here fighting some of the hillmen, which again are being advanced forward. Again, these like a cheap armor-piercing unit. And it's not bad to throw these forces forward. I think it looks really good in the distance as well with all the smoke being kicked up. Very aggressive assault from both sides, and it looks like they've got pretty good success here, which might mean the second phase of this attack is ready to go. Yeah, we're having 2 units of Furious swords being pushed forward. I'm not sure if they're going to this section of the battlefield or they're going to try and push down the side. We'll have to see how that does end up going up. For the most part, we are seeing a large push up here. We are seeing a lot of archers being advanced over to this left-hand side, which might be a pretty good idea, but it does also seem like Carthage isn't ready to give up this section of the battlefield, as the Gauls have kind of advanced forward and they've been met pretty heavily by the Greek and Carthaginian swords in the courtyard of the Roman citadel. Looking very awesome indeed. But yeah, maybe they're just looking to kind of fight this. They've kind of segregated the enemy forces, and now the missile fire is coming in, and the Cretan archers will quite quickly take down these Oathsworn if they're left alive here. And that's probably why we're seeing the Furious swordsmen being pushed forward, because there isn't a ton left over here. I mean, obviously there's still plenty of reserves, but they need to be very, very careful. And the archers came up here to get a nice little rear shot off into these Libyan infantry, which is obviously going to be very effective. Even though the Celtic swords are probably going to go down, this archer fire is going to quite quickly take up a large number of the infantry. And I wouldn't be surprised if we quite quickly saw them over here as well. We need to be careful because these archers up on the wall probably just out of range here, so that's probably why they stopped. I definitely can't fault the attackers for this, kind of play. They want to try and stay away from this wall because if they were to charge down here, I mean, look at the death trap that would be, would be ensuing. These Cretan archers would just slaughter anything that went down this road. So that's probably why they're trying to break through this section of the wall first, put pressure elsewhere, and then continue to go forward. Oh, wow, amazingly, I don't know quite how, but the Chosen Swordsmen have gotten on top of the mercenary Cretan archers, and they're going to flee and get the hell out of there, taking some casualties as they try and fall back. And yeah, quite quickly this unit of Libyan infantry is getting over here because they definitely do not want to lose them Cretan archers. The best missiles in the game, expensive as well. These swords are going to kind of act as that shield for the Cretan archers to run the hell out of there. As they fight over the ballista bolt. Someone should just unleash that ballista bolt and go flying through the Celtic swordsman pretty heavily. And somehow this unit of mercenary Samnite warriors has found its way down here and again are holding up the attackers. I don't really know how, but these warriors are being held in place. The attackers keep on getting disjointed and segregated from the rest of their army. The Samnite warriors, though, are a pretty early tier unit and won't have the longevity to really hold back. You can see them deciding to pull back and maybe, you know, throw up the Oathsworn instead, try and get these guys into a less favourable position. I mean, honestly, if I was them, I'd probably just bring this unit back and try and envelop this Chosen Sword, because even though you've got another unit of Thorax Swordsmen being thrown forward, you know, you're still doing a lot of damage. And if you could break this unit, that takes away a pretty healthy unit. Another Javelin throw coming in. I think they're just looking to try and use them Javelins as effectively as possible before anything else. And yeah, the Gothic General has been advanced through the city streets, using that quality to overwhelm the enemy. And now there's no more Cretan archers to hit this unit. They're more than happy to commit to some elite unit to cut through the Samnite warriors. Definitely not a bad position. See this brave Samnite warrior getting slashed right through the chest, his leg sliced clean off. Brutal indeed. Yeah, this Chosen Sword is going to go down. That's another pretty effective unit. The Gauls are losing. Luckily, the reinforcements have arrived and the rest of the reserves are now turning up. We are getting some missiles up here, but they're going to be traded pretty heavily with the archers. I wouldn't be surprised if did they manage to get the Scorpions back. I think they did, right? I can't see the Scorpions set up here anymore. So I think they managed to get a unit of their infantry up here. I don't know where it went, if we can see it, but... Oh, it's over here. Yeah, that's so cool. They managed to actually get this Scorpion back online. Fight back. That's such a cool idea, right? Is they lost the Scorpions, they retreated, and then they managed to fight back and retake the ground. That's something like Napoleonic, I think, in a sense. You know, when the artillery positions were lost from an enemy charge, and then they kind of fought for it back to regain the cannons. I think that's a really, really cool concept. And it's stuff like that that I think makes these battles so interesting, you know. It's like kind of, it's little stories like that that I think make Total War battles. You know, they don't seem that important, but, you know, that ballista could end up racking up a decent another 100 kills or something. That could be all that matters. Also, I mean, look at the casualties down this street of death. I mean, this is just, yeah, a massacre right now from both sides as they throw soldier after soldier at one another. But it seems finally the Celtic and the Seleucid forces have won pretty heavily. You know, obviously not without heavy casualties. They've managed to break through this position. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some archers being thrown forward now. Syrian heavy archers, pretty nice armor, so they can trade quite good with enemy missiles. Then a very nice missile stack as well, obviously with these smaller composite bows. And I think we're going to see these guys looking to try and defend as best as they can with their positions, not really give up any easy outflanks. There's some Thorax Swordsmen going to be up there. Obviously the Thorax Swordsmen want that charge. They're going to throw a javelin and hopefully charge, because they definitely want the charge as the sword unit. Doesn't seem like they're going to get it, but they're going to quite quickly be reinforced. And yeah, as I said, obviously, you know, envelopments are very important. You guys saw how effective that Chosen Sword unit wasn't when they got enveloped. It's pretty brutal. So utilizing these envelopments is going to be pretty important, and we are seeing both these players. These players all seem like they definitely know, you know, what they're doing. You're seeing these, you know, abusive charges coming in and envelopments happening very, very quickly, which is always great to see indeed. I just don't really know how this battle goes on for another 45 minutes. It must just be like a very brutal back and forth. I guess once you come up to, there's a lot of there's probably like a big movement phase as the defenders retreat and the attackers come in with their reserves and stuff, which are obviously cut out, so don't worry about that. I'd expect this battle to go on for like another good 25 minutes, I would say, so I guess it's not that far off. And this battle has been very good so far, so definitely expect a decent end game for sure. I was told that this battle ended extremely close, so gonna have to definitely look up. Maybe I'm just underestimating the slogfest Rome 2 actually can be, as the charges are coming in. So this is a pretty nice move here by the attackers, basically just getting that good charge bonus on the chosen swords, which is so effective at doing that. Coming in on the Seleucids, however, they need to be very careful because these Cretan archers can really rack up the damage. And honestly, what the defenders want to do, and I like this, they kind of fell back, just utilizing every bit of missile they can to soften up these positions and then charging in. It's something that a lot of players don't do, and it's something I picked up quite a lot of that you really want to try and do, because you're giving these javelins at the beginning of the battles, and you want to use them because not only do they take away that magical HP shield that units have, they also break up the formation and just do so much more, which makes your charges really effective. So if you can utilize your javelins, you really need to every step of the way. And now the unit's going to come in. Again, them Cretan archers need to be very careful with that, turning around that corner, because again, they could quite easily find themselves completely enveloped. And this is going to be an interesting scenario, because if the Arvenni can get some missiles up here, they're going to have a pretty good position at assaulting this. And it does seem like we're getting the archers falling back from that wall, so maybe the Seleucids can now advance down this passageway and try and support in kind of a unanimous attack on the front line. But as you can see, it's not really like the defenders have a whole ton left, honestly, on this outer layer. They still have some pikes back there, but their rosters are definitely dropping down. And this is what becomes to come in pretty interesting when it comes to these battles, is that quite quickly the defenders start to run out of men, and they have to fall back step after step after step. And then what continues to happen is that they're kind of just left with archers having to plug the gap, and obviously, then the elite units from the attackers come up, and yeah, it becomes very, very interesting. So once again, we just skip through it a little bit, and you can see the defenders are really looking to fall back, and they've given up this hill and they've given up this street. However, they're defending quite nicely here. I also imagine that these burning balls would be very effective if they would roll this entire way down. And this is all like kind of downhill, so if these burning balls went straight, they'd clear out this entire street and probably continue to go down the entire attacking battle line. It'd be very interesting to see how that went down. Again, these Furios spearmen have so many javelins. They really do have a lot. I only thought they were equipped with 2. Can we see their ammunition? It doesn't say their ammunition, unfortunately, but they have a lot. Like, they seem like they have 4 or 5 spears, which is insane. The Egyptians are going to be throwing back their javelins and then getting stuck in. Once again, looking to envelop these swords as best as they can, because getting that envelopment early, see how much damage they do. They've also popped that headhunter ability as well, which gravely improves their melee attack, but makes them very vulnerable to incoming missiles and anything else which is melee defense related. We also have this unit of Seleucid archers up here. For some reason, they're going to be held in place by the artillery crew, bravely running into death and glory. And then quite quickly being dispatched, even by the Syrian archers. They're getting taken down. But as you can see, the attackers have now advanced forward a large amount of their army. These bowmen are just holding fire for now, as the assault continues to kind of just act as a stalemate right here. But yeah, right there, this was a very risky attack here. And it seems like it's definitely not paid off for the Seleucids whatsoever. They're going to reinforce, but it's a little bit too late. The amount of javelins that came in, supported by the envelopment that occurred, yeah, that definitely just kind of put them out on the back foot. And even with heavy fighting now, I think they are going to kind of, just slowly whittle away until more reinforcements do arrive. And the archers are even being brought up now as well, the Numidian bowmen. To act as a little bit more support and just again try and kill some more of the Assyrian archers. Because every trade they do with Assyrian archers is really worth it. These Numidian bowmen are pretty dirt cheap, so comparing that with the elite archers of the Seleucids, it's pretty good. But however, the front line has now broken and the Seleucids are throwing their men forward. Somehow they managed to actually win that. Wow. What the hell happened? Oh, the Egyptians charged forward onto the archers and vice versa. That kind of freed up these men to really be pushed back. And they need to be very careful because there are Carthaginian infantrymen coming around the side here, which could push their formation back. We're also seeing the advancement here of 4 units of swordsmen who are going to come crushing down here if they want to. I think they're also trying to stay out of range of these towers. So again, it kind of makes complete sense of why they attacked down this path. It's definitely more of the strategic move to do so. And yeah, the Egyptians are holding pretty nicely, if I'm honest. It's also very important the Carthaginians can break through, or it's very important that the Armeni can break through this unit of Sarmatian warriors. Because as soon as they do, it again opens up a lot more angles to come in at. They can definitely attack down this route. They can come around the back if they can break it. They can completely dominate this area from coming in the side here into this unit if they engage it. So it definitely does create a lot more, a lot more abilities to really dive in and attack once they open up that route right there. However, they are committing more men here, and as you can see, they're really contemplating whether or not to hold this. We also do have some cavalry out here on the left-hand side. They could be very, very valuable coming in. It does seem like, though, the attackers are planning just to reinforce this section, and the defenders are having to commit more and more men back here. However, this entire area has now opened up from the attackers. And they're going to be able to start committing men down here. And this looks like a very long courtyard that isn't exactly super well defended, you know. The defenders have to really stretch their front line here. That's going to give the ability of the attackers to come in if they want to. And again, I mean, just look at that. That looks pretty awesome. A very, very cool screenshot there. The temple in the background. Cool indeed as the men cheer, ready for battle, ready for glory or death. As the Egyptians throw more and more of their men here. But again, they're just going to kind of try and snake their way down here. Oh my god, it'd be so good if they set the burning balls ablaze and they went down that entire street. But I don't think they would. I think they'd probably like fizzle out elsewhere. And I guess their plan is going to work because they're kind of just pushing through this one gap, which is obviously normally quite risky, right? Because if you just funnel your men down one part of the siege, it allows the defenders to quite handedly block that part of the siege really, really effectively with a couple of infantry, you know? And then they can just focus all their missiles down in that section. Oh, we are seeing the defenders in full-on retreat as well. Very, very nice indeed. So I'll probably cut out this entire bit unless there's something. Oh, there's a cavalry charge. Let's not miss that. Cavalry coming in into the backs of this unit of Phorios spears with a unit of swords advancing forward. And there's not really a lot to really come in and help here. We do get a square being formed up to try and repel this assault. The cavalry can continue to cause its menace wherever it needs to. Probably going to come in for another cavalry charge here. And this square doesn't necessarily create the strongest defense in the world. It can still be breached. But the cavalry is going to simply just fall back as the attackers continue to advance forward. And I think it's only going to be a matter of time until more infantry does arrive at this position. But it does seem like the defenders are really going to fall back. They are still kind of, you know, not going to give up these towers as they're still very valuable and can obviously help anything else. But for the most part, they are going to keep at bay. We're going to see them burning balls set ablaze there. They're preparing to do so. Yeah, the burning balls are being shot. I'm not sure if this does set them ablaze or not, because I wonder if you can set the burning balls ablaze and it gets rid of them, maybe. And maybe that's why this unit is here, to kind of stop that from happening. And honestly, we'll have to see what happens there. The cavalry being scared off. We also do have a unit all the way back here left in reserve. I'm not sure if this unit has been forgotten about or what, but it could be pretty useful. This is a unit of chosen swords that can turn the tide of battle. Speaking of which, the attackers definitely have the advantage in this siege battle so far with that balanced power bar. Okay, I'm just waiting for that burning balls. I want to keep an eye on them for sure. The cavalry is just roaming around, looking for something they can hit. The defenders, once again, have a very nice position up here that they can obviously shoot from. You know, whatever ammunition they do have left will be extremely useful. And yeah, I like this defensive play here by the defenders. The attackers are trying to get them to use these burning balls of destiny on them, or trying to overrun this position before they can utilize them. However, they're going to stop that. Oh, look at that. They're trying to get around. Yeah, they're really scared of these. And I love this kind of full-on charge for the burning balls. They might be able to get them. Yeah, they're going to be able to set some of these ablaze, I think. Oh, they're trying to destroy them right now? Yeah, there you go. Unfortunately, they managed to break their way through, and that blockade did not stop them, so they're going to be able to destroy all of these balls. And as sad as I am to see them go, oh, actually no, one's still going down. Here we go. One is going to be pretty effective. It just needs to get up some more momentum, ripping through this battle line. It's going to keep on going, and oh my god, this one ball is going to get so many damage if it just keeps on going. I feel like I need to blow it to keep it going. It's going so slowly, but I think it's going to run out of steam, and yeah, we're just going to kind of move out of the way. Oh, it's almost at a stop. That's so unfortunate. Because it didn't get the initial speed down the hill, it kind of went up the hill, lost its speed, and then came down. Yeah, that was unfortunate. But I mean, at least we got one pretty nice kill right there. Also, look how well these Furious Spears are holding. They're holding very effectively, completely considering they're enveloped. And for some reason, they're trying to reform or run away or something. They should have just held that because they were doing a pretty gnarly job. Maybe they want to try and fall back into range of their missiles. I don't know how this unit managed to pull through there and retreat. But it's all good. They're going to be able to pull back, probably because the chosen swords are there to support them, which makes sense. And they're just going to kind of envelop the defenders right there. We've got a lot more fighting happening, though, along the streets. Reinforcements being committed elsewhere. Just to basically shore up. However, the Egyptian general is kind of in a risky position. Maybe this is a bait. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a bait, right? Try and allow them through this gap, because they're going to think, oh yeah, let's dive through this gap and envelop the enemy general. But by doing that, they're going to leave themselves extremely vulnerable. These Levy Furious Spears are going to simply fall back, kind of continue to push them back. There's a lot of archer fire coming in as well. However, there's not really any infantry over here. Okay, maybe it was bait, because now the Seleucids can form up this defensive wall here and then completely envelop the Egyptian general. Which obviously is not going to be good. Also, these... Oh my god, there's so many javelins in all these units. He's chosen swords through a volley there and managed to catch this cavalry. The cavalry is going to come in, though. Yeah, nice rear charge there, but it's not going to be enough to break the Seleucids whatsoever. And now, yeah, they're definitely closing off a lot of these areas. You can see the Egyptian general is dead now, so Furious swordsmen form up and get ready to push through this gap. The chosen swords have been brought up finally in reserve. And as you can see, like, they've completely dominated this area. The Gaulic general is going to come up and probably envelop the Egyptian general. I guess the Egyptians don't really have much left, but it's still going to hurt them. And again, the pikemen are going to be harassed pretty heavily, even with all the javelin fire coming in. And we're really going to see them being pushed back. And again, it's a nice charge there. The Cretan archers are fleeing with their lives, but they're going to go onto some of these Egyptian pikes. And again, set up a really nice rear charge on these Furious Spears. Again, they're just levies. They're nothing too special, but you're going to break them extremely quickly by enveloping them. And that's exactly what the attackers have done. So it's looking really good for them. And right now, the defenders are simply just falling back with everything they have. You can see the Egyptian general also going down. Somehow, yeah, the Carthaginians have finally been broken there. And now we're going to be seeing that final push really into the settlement. As the attackers just try and form up everything they've got for one final push. We've got a lone Seleucid unit going in there bravely. That's going to be enveloped and, yeah, slaughtered by the cavalry charges. Nice hammer and anvil right there. Also, now the towers are coming into play, which is pretty good. But we're just going to take kind of like a couple minute rest, I think, to see everyone else move into the settlement. They need to obviously reinforce. And yeah, this final push is going to be bloody because of these pikemen. And it really depends on how many missiles they have left to break through this. We obviously also want to utilize these burning balls of destiny if they can. And yeah, we're just going to see that the force is really pushing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip ahead until the attackers have committed to this fight, and then I'll bring it back to you guys. Okay, after a pretty heavy kind of cat and mouse game, the attackers are finally coming in, and that's probably why the replay was as long as it was. Is we cut out about 10 minutes there of the cavalry roaming around, and obviously the attackers trying to catch it. And this was a really nice move by the defenders as they sent this cavalry out and basically just spent it capturing these defensive points or nullifying them from the attackers, which again is a pretty big swing. It gives them a bit of a morale bonus and it takes away the morale bonus from the defenders. However, the attackers are going to be lobbing off their javelins and racking up a lot of kills by doing so. There's some real pelters being committed, obviously out of ammunition, or maybe not, maybe definitely not. These peltists should get charged immediately by the Libyan infantry. Obviously the Libyan infantry are here to try and defend their pikes, but we definitely don't want to take a handful of volleys from these Libyan peltists, and charging them is definitely the best idea, and that's exactly what they're going to do as they go flying in, and that's pretty dangerous, right? They're obviously trying to expose the pikes, which is why they, kind of brought them so close, and now they get some volleys into the Furious Swordsman. So yeah, some really nice plays, and this has actually turned out to be a very high strategy game, so big shout out to all the players, and we're seeing some very very, very decent strategies being implied in this battle. It's very slow and methodical, but I got to respect the grind for sure. And the defensive swordsmen are engaging against the attacking ones. And there's also this position as well, which I'm not sure if you can come down here and escape out of this tower. It'd be very interesting to see if they can get around by climbing up here, and then maybe passing out one. It doesn't look like there's a door here, so I assume you can't. Maybe you can get some archers like here, just shoot into the back of a defensive position. I honestly don't know how that would work. I guess we could obviously find out. We also need to be careful of this tower as well. We do have the Silver Shield Swordsman as well being advanced forward. Obviously one of the best swords in the game for the general unit. There's also all this cavalry roaming around, as I said, just continuing to nullify these capture points. Pretty smart move if you ask me. Again, another line being held, just kind of after that initial assault, just holding firm as more javelins are being thrown back and forth. Yeah, really, it's just up to these peltists to try and break the Royal Pikemen. I mean, as well at the moment, the attackers, I think the defenders actually have a pretty big advantage right now. Whereas maybe it's switched the other way around. I mean, either way, yeah, the battle is looking very interesting in this final moments. A lot of missile fire coming in, a charge, but obviously the pikes are going to be almost impenetrable to break through. So yeah, they're kind of stuck in a pretty tricky situation, but these pikes will just repel the attackers, especially with the Thorax Swordsman in the front line as well. It's going to be almost impossible to break them unless they have something that can help out. And you can see the numbers are just being thrown away at them. But yeah, again, as I said, it's going to be so hard to break them. I think they've tried to put some missiles over here to shoot them in the back. But these pikes are looking very good. But somehow, oh my god, what the hell happened there? Why is this unit looking so poor? Over missile fire coming in? Their morale might drop. Losing that Egyptian general might be it for them. I don't think you can get up on this wall. It doesn't look like you can get up on this wall. It'd be very cool if you could, though. Again, utilizing that to shoot down on the defenders. I think it's just the missile fire coming in is really hampering the Egyptian pikemen, and they are pretty light pikemen. They're not kind of like more of the traditional Greeks. They kind of only have a little bit of armor on them. I'm just going to let what remains of their archers try it. I mean, this is obviously the position. If they can break this unit, and the peltists, I think, are also focusing them down as well. If they can break like this section of the battle line, then maybe they can break through. But again, committing more and more of these guys in, it's just not going to be enough. They have a lot of swords though, so maybe they can just brute force their way through. But yeah, if they run out of javelins, that is going to be very, very scary indeed for them. As the charges continue to come just back and forth, and I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think as soon as this breaks, it's over for them. But maybe they can just hold this line with these Egyptian pikes. Especially with this archer fire coming in as well. Oh, there's some missiles left. Do these archers have ammunition? The Gallic Hunters still have arrows, and I think it's over. Yeah, they do as well. The Egyptian pikemen are breaking, and that's going to force everyone just to come forward in one last blazing glory. Pretty nice indeed. Again, they're going to come charging forward. Wrath for Ruin and the World's End indeed. And I think that's going to probably be it, because it's going to open up some nice positions. These Egyptian pikemen are so down to like hardly any men. And I think this side will crumble pretty quickly now, and then they'll be able to envelop the other side. And obviously you can tell the players are playing this pretty smart, because they're only committing one unit of swordsmen to this side, and then they're committing a lot more to the side that doesn't have the pikemen at. So they're definitely seeing that and yeah, utilising that pretty effectively. And I mean, for the sake of it as well, Gaul have a lot of archers back here. However, we do have some cavalry charging forward against the naked swordsmen. The naked swordsmen get thrown to the dirt as the cavalry try and pursue the remainder of the missiles. I just don't think it's going to be enough. It's a very nice charge, but I think this Carthaginian general's bodyguard is going to get bogged down now with just the sheer amount of units. Generally, archers break very quickly if they're segregated, but because they've got nearby infantry, probably inspiring them as well, it's going to be more than enough to deal with this Carthaginian general, and that is going to be the battle, I think, as the defenses begin to falter, and especially once the general goes down, I think we're going to see this Libyan infantryman being broken, and yeah, the attackers are going to seize the day, completely breaking that position, forcing the defenders back once again. Pikemen left to be enveloped, the Numidian bowmen getting charged down and cut down at that as well. There is no hope left for them. I wouldn't be surprised if we just saw them mass rout, because they do still have a handful of men left, but as you can see, the attackers are coming 4-4 with everything they've got. And this last bastion of defense is so awesome. The Cretan archers surrounded by the defense. A really amazing siege battle, guys. And if you enjoy this battle, guys, make sure you do go ahead and drop a like down below. Let the guys you want to see more awesome siege battles like this. I would definitely love to get some like reinforcement siege battles, where they make it so that like an army's not one of the defensive armies, it has to sit outside the settlement for like the first 10-15 minutes of a battle, and then they can march in and try and lift the siege. That'd be really, really cool. And basically just more like scenario battles where they create a cool like looking battlefield or scenario before the battle really starts, and then they kind of agree to go when everyone is in position. So a bit more like planning pre-battle, but still very cool. And I can always just fast forward that to when we get to that point if they let me know the timer. And look at that, this Celtic warrior just slaughtering the Cretan archer right through the chest plate, and that's going to be it. The city of Rome has fallen and is now in the hands of the Arverni and the forces of the Seleucids. So let's take a look at some of the kills and the losses. So the Seleucids did lose a large, probably the most amount of men. They also deployed a heavy amount. Indeed, they definitely gave their life. Surprisingly, Carthage, I guess they did lose a lot, and unfortunately, I guess they killed basically a lot for what they brought. They just didn't really bring that much to the battlefield compared to a kind of a larger roster that we see. And yeah, look at that, the Greek Scorpions doing a nice amount of damage to both of the players, that is for sure. Archers, amazing. The Gallic Hunters are a deadly unit. And then finally, the Seleucids, again, the Syrian Archers doing very nice. And yeah, some of these Thorax Swordsmen doing an impressive job as well. So that was an amazing battle. Really, really awesome siege map as well. Let me know if there's any other special siege maps out there that maybe I don't know, and I'll have to do a battle on them in the future. But I'll see you guys in the next one, and fish out.